Welcome, everybody. I see you all filing in our virtual door. We'll give it just a minute to make sure everybody's in. Welcome, welcome. We are so glad that you're here today. Thanks for spending the day with us. All right, so my name is Sarah Goldammer. I'm going to be your presenter for the next 45 minutes. While Marcia takes a minute just to get herself all set, she's going to, I think, start us off. I am just going to ask you guys, this is off script, but like, is anybody's brain already full for the day? Because I just listened to the opening session. It was fantastic. And there was so much great information. I loved hearing everything that LaToya Newsome shared with us. But I did think about, especially being a new teacher, I was like, oh boy, if I was a new teacher, my brain would be absolutely full. So here's the good news. I'm going to stop speaking in just a minute and let Marcia take this over, but I'm just going to tell you guys one of my goals in the next 45 minutes is to make some meaning and some application to all of that great content that LaToya shared with us. And like, what's that look like in our classroom? So now I'm going to be quiet and let my friend and colleague, Marcia, take over.
Good morning, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I think I'm going to share the slides. So let me pull those up. I agree with you, Sarah. I have had a great session already, and what great information LaToya gave us. So I just want to tell you guys, welcome to the First Year Advantage Summit. I hope you can see my slides already. More than 600 teachers and administrators are joining us for this COABE's inaugural First Year Advantage Summit. We are so glad you are here and honored to support you as you begin or continue your journey in adult education. Throughout today's summit, you'll hear from experienced practitioners and gain practical strategies you can put to work right away. At the conclusion of the summit, you'll also receive access to resources developed and shared by today's presenters. Sharon has already shown you on the website where you can find those, but today is just the beginning. Later this year, COABE plans to release a First Year Advantage toolkit specifically designed for new teachers and administrators. We will want your input as we build it as well. We believe the most valuable resources are field-driven and informed by the people doing the work every day. Throughout the summit, please use the chat to tell us what is especially helpful to you, what questions you still have, and what resources or tools you would like to see developed. Your feedback will help us create resources that support not only you, but new teachers and administrators who come after you. We're glad you're here and we're excited to spend the day learning and growing together. And speaking of growing, today is only one of the many ways that COABE can support your development. As you gain experience and begin thinking about how you can strengthen your classroom, your program, and your community, we want you to know about another opportunity designed to help you do just that. Okay, COABE and Essential Ed welcome you also. Local. Take your leadership to the next level with Local. Local, leading our communities through access and learning, is a national professional development pathway designed to strengthen local adult education programs and leaders who guide them. Through practical learning, real-world application, peer connection, Local helps programs raise their visibility and tell their story, build stronger partnerships with workforce, education, and community stakeholders, strengthen program quality and learner engagement, as well as demonstrate the value of adult education within your community. Ready to strengthen your program and expand your impact? Sign up for Local. Of course, leadership isn't only about developing your own skills, it's also about recognizing excellence in others. As you become part of the adult education community, we encourage you to notice the people and programs doing exceptional work and help us celebrate them. Celebrate excellence in adult education. COABE's awards, incentive grants, and scholarships recognize and celebrate outstanding people and programs across the field of adult education. COABE presents 10 plus national awards across multiple categories, including several that may be especially relevant to you. Excellence in Local Programming Award, Teacher of the Year Award, and Administrator of the Year Award. Award recipients are recognized on the main stage at the COABE National Conference, which is going to be in New Orleans this year, receive a cash award, and benefit from national recognition and press coverage. As you begin your journey in adult education, we encourage you to learn about these opportunities and to celebrate outstanding educators, leaders, and programs making a difference in your communities. And one of the best ways to move from being new to the field to becoming one of those outstanding practitioners is simple. Keep learning. Today's summit gives you a strong start, but COABE provides opportunities to continue that learning throughout the year. Continue learning with COABE webinars. Learning doesn't stop when today's summit ends. COABE offers 50 plus professional development webinars each year on timely, relevant topics designed to meet evolving needs of adult educators and professionals. Our webinars feature highly rated presenters from COABE's national conferences, bringing proven expertise, practical strategies, and field-tested ideas directly to you. Thanks to the generous support of COABE's leading partners, these professional development opportunities are available to help you continue learning and growing and strengthening your practice throughout the year. And as our field continues to evolve, some of that learning will focus on technologies that are changing how we teach, how we lead, and serve adult learners. One of the biggest of those is artificial intelligence. Join us for COABE's AI Summit during Digital Inclusion Week. Discover how artificial intelligence is transforming adult education at COABE's AI Summit, AI for access, achievement, and opportunity. Designed for educators and leaders at every level of AI experience, this virtual summit will feature practical strategies, innovative tools, and real-world applications to help you use AI to save time, strengthen instruction, improve programs, and expand opportunities for adult learners. Whether you're just getting started or ready to take your AI use to the next level, there will be something for you. And for our administrators, we're taking that conversation one step further. Using AI yourself is one thing. Understanding how to lead its thoughtful use across an adult education program is another. Coming soon, AI Bootcamp for administrators. Ready to move from exploring AI to leading with it? COABE's upcoming AI Bootcamp for adult education administrators will provide practical, hands-on guidance for leaders seeking to thoughtfully and effectively integrate AI into their programs to make their job easier and their programs more efficient. Registration and details will be coming soon. Technology is one way we can strengthen adult education, but our collective voice is just as important. Being part of this field means not only doing great work, it also means sharing work and helping others understand why adult education matters. So get involved during AEFL Week. Join us as we celebrate Adult Education and Family Literacy Week and shine a national spotlight on the incredible work happening across our country. Have an innovative practice or program? Submit your innovation for an opportunity to showcased nationally by COABE and inspire others across the country. And if you're interested in advocacy and public policy, consider joining NAFTA, the National Voice for Adult Education, and help elevate the importance and impact of adult education nationwide. Celebrate, share, get involved, and make an impact. And there's one more way we want you to use your voice, not just to tell the story of adult education, but to help COABE shape what happens next. At COABE, our members are the heart of everything we do. As we continue to develop resources, professional development, and practical tools to support the field of adult education, we want to hear from you directly. We want to hear about your experiences, your challenges, and your priorities. Your feedback will help shape the Impact Project, innovative models for partnerships, access, careers, and transformation, ensuring the resources we create are relevant, practical, and responsive to the real needs of adult education programs. The Impact Project focuses on 3 key areas: professional development and leadership, sustainability and employer partnerships, and engagement and access. The survey takes about 5 to 7 minutes to complete, and all your responses will go directly to the Impact team. Together, we're going to create handbooks, tools, templates, and resources that strengthen adult education programs across the country. Thank you for sharing your expertise and for helping us better serve the adult education community. And now I'm going to stop sharing, and it is all yours, Sarah.
Fantastic. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me start sharing. And I do not see the start share. Let's see. Button.
Let's see. Let me see if I can look at the setting.
Here we go. Okay.
You got it?
Yes. Hey,
Good.
Thank you guys for bearing with me. I was so busy reading all the things in the chat that I lost track of what I was doing. So anyway, all right, let's rock and roll. Welcome to Starting Strong, guidance for the first day of teaching and resources to support new educators throughout the year. I am honored and excited to be here with you today. My name is Sarah Goldammer. I introduced myself a little bit earlier when I asked you guys if anybody's brain was full. So let's all get ready to kind of make some meaning of what you've heard already and think very practically about what you want to take from this session, from all the sessions today, and what you already know, and how you can get ready for that strong start. So real quickly, a little bit about me. I am a proud COABE member joining you today from Illinois, where I've recently entered into my 26th year in adult education. Looking in the chat, I saw some Illinois peeps. Welcome to everybody. I love that community. In those 25 years, I have taught, trained, coached, and learned with and from my fellow educators and students in all those years. And although in those years, how and even what we teach has evolved a great deal, the human connection and our passion for serving remains the same. So let's get started. Let's begin by introducing yourselves. You guys have already done that because that's one of the fantastic things about our community in adult education is everybody's like, hey, I want to introduce myself. I want to know you. Sharon and Bonnie encouraged us all to network. So I love that. If you haven't already, please put in your name, your state, and what you're teaching. Even if we don't have time to have a lot of interaction today, although I am going to ask for you, believe me, this is going to be an interactive session. So I'm going to ask for you to put some things in the chat, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself because I want you to see the community that we have in adult education. I want you to see who's standing with you, sharing your passion, that essential work that we're doing, teaching and reaching all of our learners. All right, so I see a few of you are putting some more things in, so I really appreciate that. I love that you are sharing both your name and what you're teaching. So one other thing I'm going to mention, I did put in the chat a Google Doc that if you like Google and you want to take notes, it will force you to make a copy, but you can make some notes there. And there's also a Word doc in the notes. And if you don't want either one of them, fine. You should learn in the way that works best for you. I want you to, if this is the way you like to learn, is just kind of listen and not have to write a lot of notes. I want you to have in a totally accessible way a note-taking doc. I am going to ask you to make some notations for yourself, like what you want to achieve, what you are hoping to get out of this session, and what resources you're going to use. So I will refer to the doc taking every so often, and you don't have to use that. You can just make your own doc, whatever you like. So now we're going to get started with our agenda for our time together. And that's the first time. So the first modeling was having some type of way for people to take information down. The second is knowing what is coming. because it's important that we activate our brains and prepare for learning. It's also a vital part of engagement. So every time we have a class period with our students, we definitely want to let them know what the structure is. We want to have flexibility within that structure, but having some flexibility really helps people to jump in. So today, our agenda in this really short time that we're together, but we're going to get it all together. We're going to engaging our learners and activating our brains. I just mentioned understanding your why, teaching people first, purposefully building community, maximizing our time with learners. And one of the ways that we're going to do that is through a lot of contextualization. That's the key to deep learning and application. We're going to give you some support and resources to help you. And then I'm going to ask you at the end to make a plan. All right. So let's move on. And this is my next question for you. I asked you to tell me your name, your state, and something you're teaching. And now my next question is this 45 minutes, and now we're down to, I don't know, maybe 35. I'm not even sure where we are, 30, will be worth your time if. What do you want to get out of this? So please share with yourself for sure. Note that. And if you want to put it in the chat, I'd love to take a look what a few people write for this. Please share what you want to achieve in the next precious portion of this time. So let me take a look at, and I think this has gone up to the screen. Okay. So we've got lots of things. To ensure I meet the needs of the people I serve in my community. Let's get this down here. Okay. Love that purpose for being here. Anybody else? What you want to achieve? New tangible takeaways for our teachers to start strong, feel more confident in teaching adults, particularly those in incarceration. Fantastic. Strategies that I can incorporate right away, utilize time effectively, not spend a lot of time personal time, not a lot of time, personal time planning lessons. I got a resource for that. Okay. And we got a thumbs up on that one. I hear you, Cher. To make sure I focus on the top 2 or 3 things. I want to start off teaching strategies. Great. Lots of fantastic things. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat and for noting for yourself. Okay. So by asking this, it's one more modeling. We're modeling buy-in and understanding the importance of what you're looking for. Asking what you're looking for is activating your brain, and you know what is coming and you know what you're looking for, you will be much more likely to hear it, acknowledge it, and remember it. So asking your students, what do you want to get today, is also a great strategy. And you've got a bunch of, okay. All right, so let's rock and roll. Make sure we get through all of this great content. And I'm gonna laugh about myself that I just said that get through content, because that's one of the things I'm gonna tell you not to do is just get through content. Okay, so why do we need to understand the why? Understanding the why is a basic foundation of adult learning theory. One of the afternoon sessions with Dr. Carmen Stewart, where she's going to talk about adult learning theory. So I'm not going to move, but I'm just going to mention that, and she's going to talk more about it, I believe. We as adults need to understand the why. Knowing that why will help us overcome any possible resistance to something new. When we tap into that internal motivation by giving the why, we'll see those direct benefits. Taking time to clearly define the why helps our brain to be on track. As adults, we like to see the relevance and connect to what we're learning to what we already know. One of the many fantastic aspects of teaching adults is we come with prior knowledge and experiences. So let's build on that. Let's use it. Research also tells us that our brains look for patterns. When we are learning, we look for connections to our prior knowledge. Our adult learners have a wealth of life knowledge. So please empower them to use it. In my experience, a lot of my students have not thought that all of their past experiences, they can use them for book learning. They can make those applications and show the connections. And that's one of the reasons I also said those hooks. I'm going to try to make a couple of applications to what LaToya was talking about. Take time for reflection for them to put meaning to what you're teaching. So please allow me to take a little bit of liberty with the science of the brain. I like to envision, this works for me, My brain and those of my learners like a series of hooks. Kind of like you might come in your back door, your front door, and you might have some hooks. That's where you put your keys and your coat and your dog leash and all those kinds of things. When I hear information or a new idea, I like to hook that content to what I already know. The hooks in our classrooms are how we connect with our learners, helping them make connections and meaning to what we're all teaching, what we're already teaching them. Albert Einstein said, the only source of knowledge is experience. So just knowing information isn't good enough. That's not helpful. We need to make meaning, and our students need to contextualize and relate it to what they already know and to what they're going to be doing in the future. Latoya talked about linking to goals, especially employment goals. So that's why we need to do that important work. Okay. I asked you, okay. Sorry, got a little distracted. Want to make sure that everybody is being able to hear and participate. So I asked what you wanted to teach, and many of you said like, "Oh, I'm teaching math, I'm teaching pharmacy, I'm teaching social studies." That is an important distinction, and I also hope that you'll begin to think about the center of all of our teaching, our students. When we teach people first, content second. Quality instruction begins and ends with the individual we're teaching. So with this foundation, this lens, let's consider components of quality instruction. Latoya talked about quality instructions. What does she mean by that? What is quality instruction for adult learners? Ultimately, the goal of instruction is to reach and teach in a way that meets our learners where they are and ensures they have the best opportunities to learn and understand how to apply what they've learned to give them the knowledge and skills to succeed in whatever way they define success. Okay, I asked you at the beginning if your brain is full. Is anybody thinking, that's a lot, Sarah? How am I going to do all of this? That's fine. That's fair to be thinking that. A lot of you said practical strategies. So let's start looking at some practical ways to implement in your classroom. I'm going to share more free, tried and true resources for you to access. And remember, it's progress, not perfection. I'm going to ask you before we part ways today to choose one thing, one idea to implement, not 17 ways, one. Remember, the theme today is to grow with purpose. So let's start strong and grow. And also remember, you have those notes to come back to after you've implemented one, you can choose another one. So even if you're not taking notes right now, you have access to that for later because there's lots of links in there. All right. So how do we know our students? How do we know what and how we are teaching is engaging and meets them where they are? Ask them. Take time to make time is a lyric from a really old song I loved when I was young. And if anybody else remembers that song, yay, we're in the same category. It pops into my head every time I think I need to cram more content into what I'm sharing to make sure I check all the boxes today. Clearly, I even did that today, and I was like, oh boy, I need to make sure that I give people some time to add meaning and reflection. So we're going to do that, even though this is a short period of time. I'm going to do my best to do that. Take time to build community, not only teacher to student, but also student to student. This is important for our classrooms, and it's also an essential skill for life and for work. So just in case you're thinking, oh boy, I got so much I need to do, I don't have time to build community, let me give you a case for why you do. Not only does science tell us that people need to be engaged to truly learn, but also, right now, I'm serving on a committee in Illinois that includes a bunch of employers, and we are looking at updating our essential employability skills. The employers are all stressing to us educators that it's really important that people come out ready to work as teammates collaboratively in the world of work. Almost everybody is going to go to some type of employment that they're going to have to work with other people. So understanding how to work together is a life skill, and it's also a work skill. Okay. All right. So here's an activity that is a first day activity. You guys may already have one in mind, and that's fantastic. Make sure you have an activity in mind. Here's one you can use. I have used this literally for decades. This is one that works well in a classroom, a physical classroom with actual note cards. I've done that. I've also done it in a virtual classroom where we've used this in a shared space, either a Google Doc or a couple of different ways that there's so many fun ways to interact now digitally. But think about for a minute how valuable it would be for you to know a few simple things about your learners at the very beginning. Names are super important. Know them, pronounce them correctly, and use them. Think about also if somebody had all of this and they were actually introducing themselves or talking with someone else. This is the beginning of a work skill, being able to talk about yourself. Make sure every learner knows what they're good at, and make sure that you then honor what they know. I've found oftentimes I've had students who don't think they're good at anything. Well, that is not going to work in our classrooms. We need to make sure that they know what they're good at and that they can speak about that and that they can build on that prior knowledge of what they are good at. Knowing what irritates someone helps ward off any potential problems in the classroom. Your classroom is a community of learners. Set the tone for respect and honor among each other and between you and your learners. As I already told you, the why for that, our employers tell us they want to make sure that they have people who know how to get along. So practice it in your classroom, call it out. Let people talk about it. And then lastly, being able to share how you like to learn tells me as a teacher that helps me to plan for instruction. It also helps them to call out how they learn because we want to make sure that we teach our learners how to learn, not just content. That's a very important life skill as well. And why this matters, here's why taking the time to know your students matters. Just in case anybody's like, oh, I heard you, Sarah, but man, I got a lot of content to teach. One of my rock star teachers in Illinois shared this as part of a training cohort for Universal Design for Learning. This participant, as part of this training, created a survey in order to gather key information from our students. This is what one of her students shared with her. One said, I wish you would have been my teacher in high school because I might have actually finished if someone had just asked me what I needed to succeed. If someone had just asked me what I needed to succeed. Let that one roll around in your head for a minute. We're teaching people and we need to connect. So once again, who's saying, Sarah, I want to do all this, but that's a lot to process. You're telling me a lot. So here's another resource for you. And the links to these are in the notes pages. And I'm also giving you my contact information. If you anything miss it, reach out to me later. I know this day is full of lots of information. So if you're looking for teaching not just what, but how to learn, I'm sharing this series of 6 short micro-learning options for you, introducing you to Universal Design for Learning, UDL. I tell my Illinois teachers all the time, UDL is simple and complex. It's simple because you can implement something without understanding all of the scientific framework. You can try something out. Also, as you use the principles and unpack UDL, you'll continue to see the many layers of support for teaching and learning. The goal of UDL is learner agency that is purposeful and reflective. There's that reflection word again. Resourceful and authentic, strategic and action-oriented. So teaching is not something we do to someone. I mentioned that before. We are empowering our learners to develop and grow so they can use the knowledge and skills long after they've left our classrooms. They will use their knowledge and skills as parents, as neighbors, as community members, as employees. Thinking of your teaching through this lens is transformative. Your responsibility and your benefit is broad-reaching. You truly are making not only your students' lives better, you're changing their communities for the better. And that's pretty amazing. Please think about how valuable it would be for your learners to be purposeful and reflective. I'm going to say it again. Strategic and resourceful and authentic, strategic, and action-oriented. Again, these are life skills and work skills. Okay, so again, lots of information I've shared with you. Let's model something I mentioned earlier to take time to reflect and create meaning for yourselves. This is vital for all of it that is learning, that all of us as we're learning, and we're lifelong learners. Making meaning. Yes, so somebody's asking about the survey questions. That is a great question, and I will get those. If you want those, reach out to me, and I will definitely share those. Okay, so take a minute to reflect on that first question. How does what you've heard so far connect to what you already know? Okay, make a little meaning for yourself. What's that connection? Put it on your note pages. Jot it down on a piece of an old envelope or on your phone, if that's where you take your notes. And if anybody wants to put it in the chat, I would love that. Okay. Shout outs for those survey questions. Great. We'll get to those. So I think what you're probably saying is I'd like to figure out how to ask my questions to my students. Okay. Anybody else? How does this connect to what you already know? Anybody already pretty familiar with adult learning? Yeah, adults like the need to build on prior knowledge. Thank you, Ava. Lisa, I know the importance of creating community in my classroom. Great. I appreciate you adding those. I'm waiting for one more, and then we're going to go on to the next question. And then we're going to start the whole resources section because I think that's what a lot of you want to see. Community keeps them coming back. That's really important. Remember, LaToya talked about having our data about how often they're there. Well, first, we got to make sure they keep coming back. They have persistence. Okay, look into UDL. Can I minimize preventable reasons for a participant to not finish the program? Love the way you're thinking. That's awesome. Relationships between learners is key to engagement and retention. Fantastic. Cultural relevance and awareness is key to creating community. So important, Leslie. Thank you for saying that. Okay. All right. So one other question I have on the screen is, how could you take one idea and use it in your classroom? Some of you are already talking about that. That's great. That's fantastic. But I really want you to start thinking about, how can I operationalize this? What's one idea? Remember, not 17, one idea, and they're going to use it. And then here's one more question for you. Yep, I got a lot of questions. Who can support you? Who can you reach out to at your local program or else in your state or through COABE to help you when you have questions or need a thought partner? Because you guys have a lot of great ideas. I can tell you have the passion. So who's going to support you? Think about that. I will put one more plug in. COABE is great. Marsha already told you about all the professional development opportunities that you have. Well, not all of them, but told you that there's going to be a lot. Also, I know people across this country who are professional development practitioners through an organization, AALPD, which is your state professional development folks. So if you want to be linked to somebody in your state, reach out to me and I can probably help you with that. Okay. So you've thought about how this connects to what you already know, how you could take one idea and use it, and who can support you. Now let's turn to more resources for you. Several of you said that's what you wanted. So I've shared a few already, but I want to make sure you feel equipped for this valuable and exciting journey as an adult education teacher. I've shared that lens through which to view your teaching and your learners, and I've asked you to make meaning of the content and connect it to your prior knowledge. And I've asked you to think about how you're going to use this information in your classroom. Like, that's all happened in a very short period of time. Now let's give you some more resources. First, I have this lesson bank. It's full of lessons that integrate adult education standards and employability skills. The lesson bank is housed on the Excellence and AdultEducation.org site. The link is in your note pages, and there are search categories. Each lesson is identified by content area and NRS level. NRS, National Reporting System, was something that LaToya talked quite a bit about. So just kind of making that connection for you there. She also talked quite a bit about preparing people for employment and preparing them for work. So this is a great way that there is a link between adult education standards and in employability skills. There's also UDL in there, Universal Design for Learning. So this can get you started with a bunch of lessons pre-made for you. The lesson plans themselves are stored as Word docs and be downloaded, edited, saved to your own device. They're tried and true lessons from real rock star adult education teachers. And we are standing on the shoulders of these teachers who are saying with us, we got you. We're supporting you with our experience. Yes, and thank you, Kim, for talking about how you're feeding off of each other. That's why it's important to get these resources, but then try them out and talk about with other educators if possible. Okay, so here you can see portions of one of the lesson plans currently in the bank. And if you can't see it all on your screen, if your screen's too small, let me just talk about it for you because you're going to have access to all of this. This is a goal setting lesson that can be used with high, intermediate, ESL, English as Second Language, also sometimes known as ELA or ELL, or lower ABE students, that's adult basic education students. So each of those the lessons are linked to different types of levels of students that they're intended for. LaToya also talked a lot about goal setting with your students. So here's a way, this would be a great first week activity. You can see that it includes the content standards that I mentioned. And you can see that there's essential employability skills that are integrated into the lesson. So we're not teaching, today we're going to teach one thing, tomorrow we're going to teach another. Let's teach them contextually. They work together. Most times in our life, we don't learn just one thing. There's applications in multiple ways. And then over here, you see in the green components indicating of the UDL. It's indicating multiple ways to engage students in this lesson. I heard some of you talking about you want to find ways to engage, so here you go. All lesson plans in the lesson bank use that tri-lens focus. So it's not just one thing, but it's how do all these pieces work together. Okay, so one more screenshot in the lesson bank, and then we're going to move on to more resources. Here's a screenshot of a lesson, Becoming an Expert Learner with UDL. So this harkens back to my earlier comment that teaching isn't something we do to someone. We help empower them with contextualized information that applies to their lives and that they are going to make their own meaning of this information. This is a fantastic lesson to help learners learn how to learn in addition to what to learn. This lesson includes a wonderful short video specifically created for adult learners to understand their own learning. When you search for resources, you often find many that are K-12, which is okay. We can kind of adapt those, but it's nice when we can get one that's specifically for adults because adults, like anybody else, we want to see ourselves. We want to see that representation in the video. Quick call out before we go on. This lesson, you may see on the screen, if your screen is big enough, was created by Erin Vibornik. You definitely want to get to know Erin. Just in case you don't, she is now the executive director of NAFTA, the National Association for the Transformation of Adult Education. Erin is an accomplished adult education teacher, so check out this one. And includes a micro-learning video specifically created for adult learners, helping them understand their own learning, as I mentioned. So I just can't say enough good about that. And you do want to get to know the people at COABE and at NAFTA that can support you and help you. Okay. More resources. So this, I may go through this pretty quickly, but you have all of these links and this information on your note stock. The Excellence in Adult Education website, that's the one that we have. It's actually specific to Illinois, but there's tons of resources that everybody across the country, if they're free, they can apply pretty much to anybody in adult education. So check it out. So here's some highlights. The lesson bank that I already told you about, those excellent lessons with that tri-lens. There's contextualized bridge curricula. And these, both LaToya and Kimberly talked about IETs, Integrated Education and Training. Bridges are a pipeline to help prepare people in this contextualized approach, learning basic adult skills and vocabulary contextualized with industry. And so they can prepare people for those IETs. Here's the thing, folks. you can use that content in there, whether you're teaching in a bridge or not. So here are the industries. Let me tell you really quickly so you can see the broad scope of this. Healthcare, manufacturing, education, IT, transportation, distribution, and logistics, that's one thing, entrepreneurship, hospitality, and a career pathways overview. So Latoya also talked a lot about career pathways. How are we going to teach that to our students? Every day, a little bit, integrated into math and vocabulary and language arts. That's how we're going to teach it. There's also those UDL videos that I told you about, 6 short micro learnings. And then also lastly, we have on-demand lessons integrating math and work skills. So those are videos that help with targeted GED concepts. So if you're teaching GED math, this is going to be great for you. There's also practice worksheets, answer keys, and each one of those have a companion lesson in the lesson bank. So lots of resources for you. Okay, so here's the part. I've been talking. I need to be quiet and make sure that you have time we only have a few minutes left, I believe. Right, Lindsay? Is that right? I've got like 3 minutes.
Correct.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcia. Okay, so choose one thing, one action you want to take. For those of you who need to, and I know that you're out there because I'm one of you, make your list of 20, but then choose one for now. This is the most important item for you for the next step. So I'd love it if a few of you put it in the chat. If you don't put it in chat, that's fine, but make a note for yourself and then tell somebody. Make sure that you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my goal. This is what I'm going to start with. And then think about again, who can support you? What resources or help do you need? Make sure you put that on the notes also and put it in the chat. All right. The links, look up the resources related to standards and lesson planning. You know, those lesson plannings really are a demonstration of good instructional design. So it helps you, like that design is already created for you. It helps you if you want to, then you can learn more about instructional design through application. Lesson bank to favorites. Awesome. Awesome. Watch the UDL videos. That's great. Fantastic. All right. Okay. So as we round the corner, folks, I just have a few last things to share with you. We talked about a lot of things. First of all, thank you so much for what you're doing. You truly are really, really essential to build our communities, to build our employee pipelines, to build people who can support their children, who want to help them with their homework at night, or be able to read that note from the teacher and write one back. So my last words of advice to you, and hopefully support, is to show your passion through your energy. Bring your students more than information. We live in an age of easily accessible information, and there is a ton of information everywhere. So help them digest the information through the way you share and with your examples. So one more time, before we move, think about someone who's done that for you before. What did they do? How did they make you feel engaged and ready to learn? Because that helps you think about what do you want to do. All right, some of you talked about building your confidence. I hope that you do build your confidence by showing your passion. Build your confidence through preparation and conversations with trusted colleagues and looking for someone that's being a thought partner with you. Set yourself up for success because we need you to be the person who starts the positive ripples in our learners' lives. You have that power. You be a big fat rock that puts out lots of ripples. And thanks for doing everything you're doing to reach and teach. All right, I think we're at time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was great.